Hey guys, this is Study and welcome to Comic Space. And after well over a decade, is there any possibility that we are going to see the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Will Andrew Garfield get the chance to finish his trilogy? Will Sony pull back the franchise after the wait of 10 years and put their chips back on the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Lots of questions that we need the answers of, and especially after the release of No Way Home, the speculation and the chatter about the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and the possibility of that film actually seeing light of the day is high than ever. And that's where our today's update comes into the play. And on top of all of that, the major update here is that there is a possibility of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 happening is a lot more in compared to the Amazing Spider-Man 3 happening. So, in very interesting situation we have in front of us that we are going to talk about. We are also going to talk about Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 a little bit and how the things are going on that front as well. So a lot to unpack. Let's dive into it straight away. So our today's update is coming from Alex Perez from Cosmic Circus. And again, if you have been following our channel or have been part of the rumor mill, you know that the people like Daniel RPK and Alex Perez, we like to give them a lot more reverence than any other industry insider, as they also have a quite impeccable track record as well. As he stated, the continuation of story of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is 100% coming, but it is very unlikely it will be in the form of his solo film. So, following that, while shooting down the possibility of the Amazing Spider-Man 3, he alluded Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 is possible. So, let's just take it step by step and let's take an overview of the situation. So, I am 100% sold on the idea that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will be back as Spider-Man once again. It can be in the MCU, it can be in the Secret Wars 100%, or it can be even in the Sony Spider-Man universe as well. So, both of them are going to put the mask back on 100%. But will they eventually end up with their solo film? And especially if I'm talking about Tobey Maguire, it has been like 17 years I think since the release of Spider-Man 3. So just recently Madam Web was released and we have talked about this on the channel as well. They originally were going to put Andrew Garfield in Madam Web, then it was Tom Holland, but since they realized that they have messed up the timeline, they scrapped the whole thing, and which at this point have kind of become an classic Sony move if you remember what happened with the Morbius. So right now, after the release of Morbius and Madam Web, the Sony Spider-Man universe plan, whatever they had, and their plan was to, I think, pretty much to get every Spider-Man villain and turn them into anti-heroes. So that plan 100% have gone a little, probably a lot more off the track. And I think it is time for Sony to take a step back and look by in bird's eye and take the overview and figure out the whole situation. And again, I think there's a lot of uncertainty regarding Sony Spider-Man universe. And I was also really happy that Sony finally started utilizing their other Spider-Man IPs as well. And we got to see 3 Spider-Woman in one film for like a 5 minutes, probably less than even that. So again, I think they do come up with this great plan, but the execution, that is a questionable thing here. But we are talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 3. I don't think so it is happening. It is a great idea, and I would love the fact that I am wrong and Sony did bring back the Amazing Spider-Man 3. So, but are we living in that timeline where Sony just go ahead and brought back 2 franchises that they just kind of closed the book on? So, as we are very familiar with Sony Spider-Man universe, which does not feature any Spider-Man. So, and I think from the earliest days I have put my chips that they were going to feature Andrew Garfield as the Spider-Man for the universe, for the Spider-Man universe. But again, it is not even like in universe. For all of the films that they're doing are very standalone, and I mean it is quite disconnected as well. So I think Spider-Man 4 is on the table, but it will be in much like in standalone film. It won't be in an part of the universe or anything. It will be just in one film, I think, where we actually get an Logan style send off to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And that's why there is so much possibility of that we actually get to see a sort of a send off to that character. And again, Sam Raimi has gotten back to the world of superheroes, so I think he would like to do Spider-Man 4 with his original vision of what he was actually going to do, plan on, and he was actually making so a lot of progress with Spider-Man 4 initially when it was going to release in like 2011, until obviously the whole thing got rebooted. So I think Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 is on the table in a way. Sony is obviously not considering it with all of this stuff going on with the live action Spider-Man universe, but I think it's quite an interesting possibility, and both of the situation that we have in front of us is quite interesting. So today all we are talking about is Spider-Man, so let's complete the trio and let's talk about Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 as well. So if you have seen my previous video about in which in detail we talked about Spider-Man 4 and how things are going, they're still in the writing phase, and as they're finding in sort of a middle ground, is the film should be a street level film or should have a multiverse story, and that's finding a sort of a middle ground in that part as they're figuring out. I think it is going to have a bit of both. With starting, it is probably going to be very much grounded, but again at the end I think we are going to see some very big stuff happening. So as also that Sony has been looking forward to rush Spider-Man 4 into the production as they are looking forward to 2025 release date, and we have talked about how Marvel Studios have got a lot of things to look out for. They got lots of things going on into the production this year. Again, Marvel and specifically Kevin Feige is not able to actually supervise the whole thing with the Spider-Man 4, and at the end of the day both of the studios have to come to some sort of middle ground and to figure out the whole thing, and I'm 100% thinking it is not coming in 2025, it is going to be coming in 26. 100% I really don't see Spider-Man 4 happening next year, and especially if they're considering bringing John Watts back, and especially after he stepped down from Fantastic Four because he wanted a break. So again, that is also a very interesting situation. So again, we were just talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4. So let's indulge the idea that can we be seeing Tobey and Andrew in Spider-Man 4 if it is going to be a multiverse story? So I personally think 100% not. If we are going to see them once again on the big screen, I think it has to be in Secret Wars. Maybe some other films we 100% can expect because we got some major films coming up. Just not Spider-Man, but also Deadpool and Wolverine. And I know those are very unlikely venues for them to show up in, but again we are literally in the multiverse saga and anything is possible. So anyhow, we are just indulging the idea and talking about all of these endless possibilities that we have, and the whole set of interesting events is happening all over the place, all around us. And I think that's all we can do, get our feelings out, get our emotions out and talk about them, because I think the multiverse has been fun, very fun, and it is gonna be continuing to be very fun. So I think it has been a roller coaster, just not Marvel but Sony Spider-Man universe and even DC. So I think with that note, it is time for me to see you guys off. Well, that's it for this video guys. I'm so glad that you guys got the time to hear me out. Thanks for listening to me. This is your host Ali signing off. See you in the next one.